We do one take, always do it in one take, and you are the consummate professional.
This is probably a really stupid idea because this sun is harsh, it's not particularly flattering, but it's such a beautiful day I thought I'd come up on the roof. A bit of a difference to this week's vlog because the tables have turned. I'm going to be the one that's being asked the questions. I just wanted to say that when I started vlogging, I never did it for any other reason than just as an experiment to see if somebody my age can have a life that's interesting enough for people to want to dip in and out of. I love following other people's lives on YouTube. I love seeing, I'm very voyeuristic, and I'm single, I don't have kids, I don't have all these layers, and I just wondered if I had anything that was of any interest to other people. But it's very interesting looking at the demographics of the people that are following me. It's as many men as women, and it's right across the age group, which is really exciting, and it is actually proving my point. This week, I want to introduce you to someone who is a friend of mine, but she's a prime example of what I'm doing, I suppose, which is completely reinventing myself and having new chapters. She came on my show, but she's now a friend. Her name is Trisha Cusden, and she went from management into fashion and beauty and started her own company called Look Fabulous Forever. And she said, why don't I just come and chat to you and ask you the questions about your life? And you know how much I love talking about myself. I need to say, I earn nothing from this. I earn nothing from YouTube. I don't have enough followers yet, but I never will. I won't monetize it. I do it just because I love doing it. She surrounds herself by the most amazing team. They all came to my flat, which is downstairs, and made the flat look bigger than it is and made me look better than I usually do, and sit back and enjoy it. Or it's quite long, you don't have to watch it all. You may find it indulgent, just dip in, dip out, turn it off, whatever. But here we go, downstairs.
Tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'm marching my band down.
This is amazing. This is pure luxury. Oh God, yeah, I love it.
You do a 3-hour show?
Yeah, but on Saturday I do a 4-hour.
Wow. So Saturdays you do breakfast?
I do the breakfast, yeah.
And you're sometimes on Inside Out?
I do Inside Out, yeah, most seasons, 3 or 4
Okay.
Inside Outs.
Get you to swap seats, please.
See, it's, I love that feature. I wonder when they were in London, I can get them much. Is that
It's my very great pleasure today to be interviewing Jo Good. I've actually met Jo twice when I've been on her radio programme, which is on Radio London every afternoon from 1 till 4. All I can say about Jo is that she makes me think of a pocket rocket. She's physically quite tiny, but my goodness me, is she full of energy, life and vitality. She's just started a new YouTube channel, which is called Middle Aged Minx, and I've been watching her output, and it's absolutely wonderful. It really does reflect her and her lifestyle. It's a bit zany. She meets some wonderful characters, including people like Julian Clary, but above all, she features her mum and her dog Matilda, and they are one of the best characters. Those two are the best characters in it in many ways. They're hugely funny, so do take a look at that because it's well worth it. So Jo, I'm so happy to be here today. I'm going to start really with your life, and you started acting, didn't you? Tell us a bit about how you got into acting.
I was one of the original precocious child actresses, and I had this awful gap in my teeth and a lisp. So I was Violet Elizabeth from a very young age, you know. And my parents, we set sail for Australia when I was 5. They emigrated over there, and I was stood on a table in the bar of this ship sailing to Australia, singing Margie, which I don't think many people alive even remember the song Margie. Margie, I'm always dreaming about you, with this dreadful lisp and ringlets. And I remember my brother never sort of forgave me for this. He hid for almost the rest of the journey because I would then do this every single night. And I loved the sound of applause. And I think a show-off was then launched. So then when we got to Australia, the first thing they did was enroll me in a dance school. And that's what I did. I danced and showed off right up to the age of 63, Tricia.
But you were in shows like, you were in Coronation Street and various other things, and that was through the 90s, I think, that you did that.
Yes, I was in Crossroads for 4 years, which at the time it had 25 million viewers a night, 5 nights a week. And it was parodied in the end. It was pretty appalling, to be quite honest, because there was no editing. So if you forgot your lines, they would turn the sound down, and you could see us going, waiting for someone to throw us a line. If the scene you were in underran, you literally couldn't get off. I remember being in the garage once with Glenda, and I said, anyway, that's what I feel, Glenda, and went to exit, and the door wouldn't open, and there was a floor manager holding it closed because we'd underrun, and we had to fill 5 seconds, which we did, of me just trying to get out, and they kept it in. I mean, they were amazing days, and I think people watched that soap for all those mistakes, for the set shaking and everything else, but it created massive stars out of the regulars. I was only in it for 4 years. The ones that were in it for 25, they were television royalty. It was extraordinary.
And how about your radio career? So that started in the early 2000s, I think. How did you get into radio?
I got into radio because after I came out of Crossroads, I did a tour of Educating Rita, which was great, off the back of Crossroads. But then no one really took me very seriously because of Crossroads. I was tarnished with it. And in those days, coming out of a soap, you weren't treated that seriously. So I did what a lot of people do, a lot of actors do, and go and live in Brighton. Because Brighton, the property's cheaper, everyone has a lovely life, everyone has a fireplace. Now, every flat you go into in Brighton has a lovely fireplace. And we loved it down there. But my agent stopped calling me because early shoots, early auditions to get the train back up from Brighton, they just said it's not worth your while, really. So, excuse me, I was waitressing, should I say, for quite some time. And then the local BBC in Brighton said, will you just come in and do a paper review? And as you know, Tricia, you've met me enough times, I am very opinionated, I am very gobby, and I started mouthing off about things that were happening in Brighton and nationally. And they said, maybe you'd test for your own show, which I did. So I started doing my own show, and then I was the breakfast presenter for Brighton for the BBC for about 12 years.
Right. Tell me, you're on every day, and that's for 3 hours,
yes,
every afternoon on Radio London, and then you're on Saturday mornings for 4 hours?
That's right,
which is
yes.
a very long time.
Yes.
So what's the best thing about being on the radio in that way every day?
I think, looks are important to me, looks are important to you. I've reached an age where I do need help, you've seen that today. I do need help to look good. And I can go on the radio, I can literally stumble out of bed, walk down to the BBC, put my makeup on during the 2 o'clock news. No one knows. They don't know I've done a whole hour, with a fresh face. It doesn't matter what I look like. And I'm not using the aging card, but television is quite ruthless. The small screen is quite ruthless. High definition is incredibly harsh. Radio, no one knows what I look like, what I'm wearing or anything else. And I quite like the fact there's that anonymity, but at the same time, people who listen to the radio, that station is their friend. They trust it and they listen to it every day, hopefully. And if you want to watch all of that, then just click on the link below. Guess what? Next week, Joe meets Robert De Niro. I kid you not, seriously. Come on, Tilda. We're going now. Come on. Going.